It's difficult to validate those fantasy checklists across cultures because some of the words that are used might be very culture specific. And what is the exact translation of that in another language? And is it really capturing the same exact thing? Or is there something else that might be attached to it?
Hong Kong is a fairly traditional, it's a city of diversity. There's many different people live here. And there is this mixture of the Western ideas and the traditional Hong Kong ideas.
We cannot consistently control these inner tensions between what we are, meaning one animal among many, and what we are supposed to be, meaning the opposite of an animal. These tensions, therefore, have the potential to discharge themselves in play, sometimes even in sexual play, by letting ourselves fall into precisely that which we are supposed to avoid.
To be mind of religious conflicts, there's shame, there's guilt, there's a lot of negative things that religion typically influences when it comes to sexual functioning and our beliefs surrounding sexuality. And I wish it wasn't the case, but that's the bottom line.
South Africa, believe it or not, had the Equality Act ahead of the United States of America. There was LGBT rights were way ahead of the United States. I think it was in the year 2000. You're legally not allowed to discriminate against LGBT people, but it is a huge amount of discrimination. Unemployment, I think, is 47%.
Partnerships where there's, one white partner and one person of color, but in this case, Middle Eastern, when you're working with those folks, you're also looking at the power difference. You're looking at the power differential, how decisions are made.
Responsibility to take ownership on our fantasies, our own desires. Maturity to me means taking responsibility for the fulfillment of one's desire.
Aboriginal men experience cross-generational blame. Many of these men are unable to embody the manhood of their traditional culture, nor meet the colonial imposed standards of manhood.
Fantasy is distinct from desire, and fantasy and desire are distinct from behavior. So fantasy is just a thought that turns you on. A desire is a thing you want to do, and a behavior is a thing you've actually done. Sometimes our fantasies are desires. Sometimes our fantasies and desires become behaviors, but sometimes we engage in behaviors for which there was no preceding fantasy or desire.